Hi everyone, welcome back to Little K Artistry. I'm Little K and this is my studio at Little K Artistry in central Maine. I want to welcome you back to my channel if you are a returning subscriber and you're watching more videos. I also want to welcome you if you're a first timer. Thank you, I'm so glad that you found my little corner and I appreciate you subscribing if you haven't yet. If you like what you find on my channel, please subscribe. It helps me to make my dream come true, which is sharing my art with the world. And also, I've always kind of wanted to be a teacher, and this is helping me to make that dream come true. But instead of teaching English, which is what I thought I was always going to teach, so said my English teacher, Becky Clifford Pride at Yarmouth High School back in 1989. Shh, it was a while ago. That didn't happen, but I am teaching now. So welcome. I appreciate you all being here. This video might be a little bit longer than usual. What I have done is I have compiled two lists, and these are the things that I have either learned along the way or wish I knew when I was first starting out with regard to fluid art. And I'll be doing another one for texture art, but this is for fluid art because that is where my passion is at the moment. I do love texture art though. So again, welcome and thank you for being here. I have mixed up my Dutch pour mix with several different colors here. I have 4 colors for the bloom and 1 for the background. And as I am going down through the list to kind of help all of you, especially if you're new, or even if you're seasoned, there might be something on the list that will be helpful for you. I'm going to go down through my list of 16 things. These are not the practical things like which paints to use and what spinner to get or how to set up your studio. These are more the psychological things. And I wanted to do 2 lists because I've got 16 things on my first list, and if I did one list, it would be too long. So I'm going to separate it into 2. And I am going to be doing this up in a document for those of you who would like me to actually email you the document with all 16 of my bullet points on it and the information behind them. I would love to do that. So drop a comment below. Also, depending on where you're from in the world or in the US, drop a comment and shout out from where in the world that you're watching this, because my list is growing. We now have, I think, Wisconsin just joined. Yay! I'm so excited. It's so neat. We're gonna have all 50 states soon. If you are not aware, or if this is your first time watching, or you haven't seen one of my videos where I was explaining it to you, I live in central Maine. If you're familiar with Maine at all, you're probably familiar with Portland. So if you are in Portland and then you get in your car and you drive 2 hours north, I'm right outside of Bangor. And yes, it is pronounced Bangor. It's not Bangor, it's Bangor. Just like Saco in southern Maine is Saco, it's not Saco. But there's so much to love about Maine. One of the things that I love about Maine is the people, the climate. Right now, it is, I think we're starting our 2nd week of August, and it's a little hot, it's a little humid, but I have my AC on, so I am happy. So what I'm going to do today for you is I'm going to do a bloom, and while I'm doing the bloom, I'm going to go down through my list of 16 kind of psychological things that I have learned, tips that have helped me, that I either learned while on my journey of fluid art or wish I knew and I kind of learned after the fact. I hope this is helpful for you. If it is, give a shout out. If you want to add something to the list that I missed, I'm always going to be updating it and revising it as I learn new things. This is just my first edition of my lists. But drop a comment below and let me know. As I get going, I'm going to tell you which paints I'm using. And hopefully I'm going to make something really pretty. But like I always say, I never know, which is the beauty of fluid art. Because you can put all these gorgeous things, this is a used canvas by the way, you put all these gorgeous things on a canvas and it looks like a puddle of there. And then you blow it out or you spin it or whatever you do and you're like, oh, wow, where did that come from? And sometimes, not very often, sometimes you look at it and go, where did that come from? Same words, different meaning. So bear with me. Again, if you're a returning subscriber, I hope you appreciate the silliness. I am a corporate speaker. I am a corporate trainer. I am also a certified life and business coach. I find it ever so hard to stay serious. I've had so much serious in my life that I really like to have fun and joke. And I want this to be a fun, safe, enjoyable, educational learning place for you all to come when you want to see something beautiful or you want to hear a little bit more about fluid art or my really bad humor or my movie references, which are constant. I know, inconceivable. There I go, see? What movie is that from? Best movie ever made, in my opinion. Okay, I am going to start with a base coat, and I'm also going to start with number 1 on my list. And the first, actually, let me tell you what this is. This is turquoise blue. I believe it was Amsterdam turquoise blue mixed with titanium white, because I wanted a turquoise blue background, but I wanted it to be lighter, because I am using turquoise blue in my bloom. So this is the background, a combination of turquoise blue and white, titanium white, and that's by Amsterdam. So the first bullet point on my list is to take your time. Don't rush. This is not a race. No one is watching. No one cares how fast or slow you go. It's not a race. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Really important tip, you guys. I sort of kind of knew this in the beginning, but not really. I was in a rush because I wanted to see the art done. I wanted to see how beautiful it was. I went, now. I just want it now. And I tend to not have a lot of patience. And I can't remember if it was a movie. I think it might have actually been Evan Almighty. And it might have been Evan Almighty when I think it was the God figure said something about God not giving you patience. He gives you opportunities to practice being patient. Don't ever pray for patience. Let me just warn you right now. You'll get opportunities to practice. Just saying. Okay, so yeah, be patient. It will come. It takes time. You've heard people say it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And that's true. So that's number 1. Number 2, this was a really hard one for me, you guys. Are you your own worst critic? I know I am, and I'm very tough on myself. So number 2 is be kind to yourself and also be yourself. It's one thing to emulate a mentor, which is totally fine. In fact, the style of painting that I'm doing today is emulating one of my mentors, one of my very favorite painters in the whole wide world, and that is Windsor. She is who I learned a lot of fluid art from, this particular style as well. She is the artist who coined and created the Dutch pour. This is not technically a Dutch pour because a true Dutch pour uses just paint and water. And my paints are mixed with my little K pouring medium, which I will be sharing next Thursday, August 15th, in case you didn't get the memo. So yes, emulating a mentor is fine, but be yourself. Find your own artistic voice, I guess. Be yourself. That has really been a struggle for me my whole life, I think, and maybe some of you all can relate. Just be yourself, but be kind to yourself. Don't cut yourself down, especially in the beginning when you're learning. No negative self-talk. Just keep saying, one of the things that I remember my mentor in life coaching telling me is the most powerful word that you can use is yet. So instead of saying, I'm not very good at fluid art, just add yet on the end of that sentence. I'm not very good at fluid art yet. Yet. So that is that. That's 1 and 2. Number 3, learn from people and choose mentors who are closer to you, who you have something in common with, or who are like you personally in their personality, someone you identify with, someone that you can relate to. Because I found anyway, that I chose people who had similar interests, such as Windsor. She is very influenced by nature in her art, and you can see it in her beautiful artwork. And I am very influenced and have a very strong attachment and love for nature. I grew up on a farm. I had a very traumatic childhood. We won't go into that, but I spent a lot of time escaping my childhood, and I did that by being outside in nature. So it has a Nature holds a very significant role in my life, in my psyche, in my well-being. And I found Winsky Downia, who is also very inspired by and motivated by and emulates a lot of natural settings in her art, which I just love. Another one of my favorite artists is Georgia O'Keeffe, and if you're not familiar with her paintings, I believe she has passed. I think she was most active in the 60s and 70s. Her artwork is gorgeous to me. She did a lot. She lived in the desert Southwest, I believe, and she worked a lot with skulls and flowers and desert flowers. Just beautiful. Her work is just mind-blowingly beautiful. So yeah, I just said so yeah. I'm trying really hard not to say that, you guys. Oh, that drives me nuts. Identify people who you have a lot in common with, or more in common with, people who are more like you or share the same interests, and learn from those people. And then along the same lines, number 4 is find a mentor. If you can, more than one. Mentors do not have to know that you're their mentors. In fact, several of my mentors probably don't even know I exist. Maybe they do. I don't know. I know Rinsky does. Hi Rinsky, if you're watching. Yeah, they don't have to know you. They don't have to even know that you exist, as long as you know they exist. And you have access to either their videos or if they have printed material. Just find multiple ones, more than one if you can, if it's possible. And I stress, human beings are visual. We're mostly visual learners. Unless you have a visual impairment, human beings are visual learners. If I say black dog, you don't see the word typically black dog in your mind, you see a picture of a black dog. So we're visual learners. So if you can find someone who has videos that you can watch, definitely do that. And if you can follow along, if you're a tactile learner, then you can follow along and do your painting while they're doing theirs. So that's also a really good idea. Multiple mentors. Okay, number 5, keep it simple. When I was coaching in my other business, I used to sell skincare, go figure. We had an acronym and it was KISS, K-I-S-S. And they would always say, keep it simple, silly. One of them said, keep it simple, stupid, but I don't like that word. So we changed it to silly. So keep it simple, silly, or keep it simple, sister. But some of you watching are men, so that doesn't work. Either way, keep it simple. Don't try to use too many colors. Don't try to use too many things, tools, all at once. Don't try too many techniques. Keep it very simple, especially at first. What you'll find is you can get really good at one particular thing and then build on it. Get really good at one particular thing and then build on it. I put down my base coat here. One of the things I'm going to teach you on the next list, make sure you have enough base coat. I can't even tell you how many times I had to scrap a painting because it would slide and then stop because I didn't have enough base coat on it. That's just a bonus for today. Make sure you have enough base coat. Popping the bubbles, the link to this is down in the description. And there's something in my painting. It's not a bug though. I did a sweep for flies in my house before I started this. There's no flies. Those of you who've been watching long enough know that I have been plagued by a hole in my screen and it keeps letting the flies in. I don't know how they're finding that one little hole. But I don't have that problem anymore. No more flies getting through the screen. Okay, I have popped all the bubbles. And if you don't know the reason why we pop the bubbles in the base coat, it's a very simple reason. Once I blow the design and the composition out before I stretch it, if there are bubbles in the base paint, they'll pop through the colors, and then whatever this color base paint is, there'll be a spot, like a circle of that. And if you don't want that, then make sure that you pop all of your bubbles, and this torch is really good at that. I'm gonna start putting down the colors. This is Cadmium Yellow Light. All right, so we did keep it simple. Number 6. Learn the basics of color theory and composition. Get yourself a color wheel. I have 2 of them because I didn't know which one I was going to like best. Get a color wheel. Go down to the art store and grab a color wheel and learn about how, if you're not familiar with it. I wasn't familiar with it. I have no artistic training other than high school with Mrs. Tarbox, and that was, well, I graduated in 1990, so it was a few years ago. I learned nothing about how the colors interact with each other, what happens if you mix colors that are opposite on the wheel, what happens if you put colors together that are beside each other, or that are like in a triangle or a square. It doesn't, there's so much to learn. Grab one of these, you don't necessarily have to have two. Just an overachiever, I guess. Okay, this is cadmium yellow light. Learn the basis of color theory and composition. I just went online and I searched how to make a pleasing composition, or how to make compositions in art pleasing to the eye. And there's so many really neat articles, you guys, really cool articles on why it works, how it works, and how to make compositions that are really interesting and fun. Okay, so there is my cadmium yellow light. It's the first one. Second one is Amsterdam turquoise blue. This is Liquitex Basics, by the way. Start small. This is a 24 by 24 inch canvas. I don't recommend starting with this. I would recommend starting with, if I can grab one, hold on, 8 by 8. Practice. Scrape it, practice again. Scrape it again, but not hardly any paint on here. You're not wasting. And if you're scraping and saving and putting it into a bucket to strain and use later, this is perfect size, 8 by 8. I would not go larger than a 10 by 10. Some people start with tiles you can get at your Home Depot or wherever you go to get your home stuff. 6 inches, 4 inches, start with something small. Really, really important. That's kind of, yeah, that's less psychological and more like, what was the word? I can't remember. Maybe this is why I didn't become a teacher. My train of thought has left the station without me, you guys. Okay. All right, so that was cadmium yellow light. This is Amsterdam's turquoise blue. And I'm just going to put that right there. And no, it does not have to be perfect. Art is not perfect, you guys. Start small. That was number 7. Number 8, this is really important and I just touched on it. Have a plan to recycle. If it's important to you. It's important to me because it's better for the environment and it's better for my wallet. Have a plan starting out before you put any paint on the canvas. Have a plan to recycle. Know how you're going to reuse your paints. If you're going to reuse your paints, do a little research. I'm happy to do a video on what I do if you guys want to hear about that. This is Windsor blue, one of my favorite blues. I do like phthalo blue. I also love Prussian blue. This is Windsor blue. You guys familiar with Windsor and Newton colors? This is Windsor and Newton. The Galleria acrylic, Windsor blue. Cut very pretty. And this is permanent blue violet. Whoops, I just knocked over a painting. No one's supposed to see that. Number 9, have a plan for safety. This is also key for both you and the environment. So, what are you going to do for safety? A mask, if you're using any kind of pigments or glitter, anything that you could potentially inhale, anything that has a strong smell, if you're using strong paints, if you're using any kind of polyacrylic or any kind of a sealant, especially if you're using, oh, what is the thing that everybody, oh shoot, it went right out of my head, you guys. Everyone seals it with, it's not epoxy. Oh, for crying out loud. You know what I'm talking about. It's resin. Here we go. Somebody said it and I heard it. You guys were all going, resin, resin, it's resin. And I heard you, so thank you. Resin. I do not use resin. It is horrible for the environment. That is my personal decision. Those of you that use resin, have at it. Happy for you. Do it. It's terribly toxic. It's bad for my pets. It's bad for me. It's bad for the environment. That's why I personally choose not to use it. If you want to use it, go for it. It's beautiful. It makes a shiny glass. I mean, it's gorgeous, but I can't get past how toxic it is. And you have to have all kinds of facial, there's a lot in here, all kinds of facial apparatuses, and this one's really full. So I'm just going to put a little bit in a cup before I pour it on there. Okay, this is permanent blue violet. And I want a good amount of this one. There we go. Permanent blue violet. another one of my favorite colors. Last several paintings I've done have had permanent blue violet in it. And then I'm just going to put my top layer on. Top layer just uses a different viscosity. I'm going to be sharing all this with you guys, so you'll know what I'm doing. Just a different viscosity. Causes cells to form, and you don't need very much. Okay, then I'm going to blow it out. Okay. Watch as many videos as you can. Watch them every day. YouTube is chock full of amazingly gifted artists. Not just me, guys. Go find everybody. I can't even, my subscription list on my YouTube channel is probably 70 channels long. I'm not even kidding you. I have a lot of people that I follow and that I subscribe to because I'm constantly trying to learn. Boy, I hope this turns out to be pretty. Because I'm talking and I'm not really paying attention. I don't usually talk this much when I'm trying to do this. Okay. I won't talk while I'm blowing it out. Watch as many videos as you can. Watch them repeatedly. The kind of work that I do, this one here, abstract cellism. By the way, this is what it looks like with all the, this is the abstract cellism boulder cells, and then I put the texture, the clear texture on it. Now it's totally dry. I can't even tell you how many times I watched the video for this. It had to be at least 100, but I really wanted to learn it. So find the videos of the thing that you want to do. Somebody's doing it really well, and repeatedly watch the same videos over and over and over again. Here's a key. Repetition is a convincing argument. Remember that. Watch as many videos as you can. And before I blow this out, inexpensive paints, inexpensive canvases, inexpensive supplies in the beginning. Unless you're made of money, in which case, Windsor, Newton, Amsterdam, Golden, Lucas, they're all pretty good. Okay, I am going to blow this out, and the one thing I'm going to remind you, this is a technical bit, instead of pushing this way, remember mostly, not totally perpendicular, but very close to perpendicular when you're first blowing it out. That way you'll get all the colors going, okay? Inexpensive paints, inexpensive canvases. I'll do the last 5 after I blow this out. If you haven't seen this before, if you have, plug your ears or fast forward. I'm going to explain my hairdryer. This is a mini hairdryer. The link to this is in the information. I taped a larger diffuser to it because the one that came with was not big enough. You get the diffusers online, they're a couple of dollars. I folded a small piece of cardboard and stuck it on the cold button and then taped it down so I don't have to hold the button down. I just turn it on and it's cold. So low and cool. I'm going to do a 5-petal bloom. Hopefully. This is always so nerve-wracking. Oh my, my, my. Oh, that's promising. This always makes me so happy. Oh, got a little bit of yellow. Oh. Oh, you guys, this type of art makes me so deliriously happy. I can't even tell you. Right before I get ready to spin or blow it out the very first time, if you were in here and had a stethoscope on my heart is racing right before, and I get really hot. That might be menopause. Yeah, having a hot flash. Right before I get ready to blow it, because there's such, I don't know if it's adrenaline, if it's endorphins, I don't know what it is, but I love it. Whatever it is, this is my thing. Oh, I mean, it would be. I don't even need to blow it out, you guys. Okay. So when blowing out, I love to do 5 petals. I think it's more natural that way. It fits well on a 24 by 24 canvas. I am going to just define the petals a little bit. I don't go all the way to the center. I only do I only do a little bit because I like to have a larger center. It's completely up to you how you do it. Drag a little bit of the background paint in it, and then just before you get ready to let go, just dip it up just a little bit. That's just how I do it. Don't go all the way to the, whoo, I think I am having a flash. Sorry guys. And for the men who are watching, let me just say, if you have a woman of menopausal age in your life, be it wife or mother or sister or friend or family member, be understanding. It's like somebody just turned the heat up to 150 in my studio and I have the AC on. Okay. So I've defined the petals. I haven't spun it yet. Wait till you see, you guys. This is going to be amazing. I'm so happy. I am going to pop the bubbles. More cells will come up. I like to pop the bubbles right around the outside edge because that's where I like the cells to be. I don't really do much in the middle. Whew, holy, holy, holy. Okay. I apologize for that. I did not know that hot flash was going to hit me. Here, I thought I was just excited to be painting with you guys. Okay, are you ready? Woo! Okay, let me make sure it's not going to hit anything. That would be a faux pas that I've made several times in the past. Make sure your spinning area is free of clutter, bottles, what have you. Okay, so we talked about using inexpensive paints and inexpensive canvases when you start. That's a really important thing. And another psychological thing, also technical, prepare. So what does that mean? Well, prepare your canvas, prepare your space, prepare all of your essential tools, your paints. Prepare if you have a studio, if you have rooms. Some people do in their basement, some people do in their garage, some people do it in their kitchen. Wherever you're doing your art, prepare. Make sure you have all the tools, all the paint. Make sure you have enough space for if you are brave enough to do a larger painting in the beginning. Make sure you have enough space to spin it. Make sure you have your spinner, everything. You want to make sure that you are prepared, because if you're not prepared, it's going to just frustrate you. This form of art comes with enough frustration, especially in the very, very beginning. I might need to just look at this, you guys. What do you think? Oh, this is like a galaxy or a really pretty rainbow or something. I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm loving it. Wow. And I'm gonna get my trusty little dotting tool. I have all my tools right handy. That's part of my preparedness. I'm going to spin it one more time, a little bit faster. And when I say prepare your space, if you are using a spinner, at first you're probably going to be using smaller canvases. So spinning paint all over your walls isn't probably going to be a problem. However, when you're learning, at this stage, I got nothing on my walls. Nothing, you can see the circle of where the paint is right on my table. Nothing comes off my table now. Because part of it is I've learned how to mix my paint so that I don't need to spin very hard at all to get the paint to move on the canvas. Part of it is I'm also taking my time, spin more instead of faster, spin more revolutions. Oh my word, you guys, oh this is looking pretty. What do you think? Whew, okay, so prepare. I cannot say that enough. Prepare, prepare, prepare. You are going to be so frustrated if you don't prepare ahead of time. I only know this because, hey, did it. And frustration does not even begin to, yeah, I was very frustrated. Especially the first several months. So prepare. 13, that was 12. 13, ooh, look at that. Now I know it's stretching really well because the paint is coming off the canvas. Number 13, give yourself time to get it right. And that follows practice and prepare. Practice is actually the next one. Prepare was right before this. Give yourself time to get it right. Are you going to do bad paintings in the beginning? Bad paintings or paintings that you don't particularly like? Yes. Yes. No one does it perfect from the get-go. My Nana, who passed away in 2011, She was 98. She had all of her teeth. She was also English. She drank tea all the time. Speaking of having her own teeth, she gave me one piece of advice, which was floss. She said, you only have to floss the teeth you want to keep. And I told my children that. And they both have their teeth. And so do I. So, floss. But Nana used to say that you have to give yourself time and be kind to yourself. It is not a race. Slow down. Take your time. And that's really, really important. No one starts off doing this 100% right from the beginning. It takes time to learn something new. Nana always used to say also that the thing that you love to do and everything that you love to do, you were once new at. So fluid art will be the same. I'm loving the cells on the outside of this, you guys. This is so pretty with the streaks in the center and the cells on the outside. Okay, so give yourself time to get it right. Number 14, again, practice, 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 practice. It's very timely. Okay, I'm going to spin one more time the other way. It's very timely, and I kind of did this deliberately, to do this how-to. Right now, the Olympics are going on in Paris. It's the 2024 Paris Olympics. And we are seeing the best of the best of the best. That also is a movie quote. Can you guess? Best of the best of the best, sir! It's Men in Black. I love Will Smith. Anyway, we're seeing the best of the best. I told you I was silly and had movie quotes. We're seeing the best of the best of the best in the Olympics. Okay, so what I want you to do is when you're watching my videos or when you're watching anyone's videos who is, let's say, a veteran or who has been doing fluid art for a while, what you are seeing is the Olympic event. You're not seeing the hours and days and weeks and months of blood, sweat, tears, toil in the trenches every day, showing up, doing bad painting after bad painting, spilling stuff on the floor, flinging paint on the wall, getting paint in your hair, eating paint. That's always fun. Accidentally, of course. I don't recommend eating paint. Not good for you. You are seeing the Olympics. You're not seeing all the hard work, the crying, and yes, if you're a girl, and sometimes boys cry and that's okay. I don't know if you cry when you're doing art, but good for you if you do. It's a way to release emotions. I always say emotion has leaked out of my eye and drips down my cheek. Yes, blood, sweat, and tears. You don't see that here. What you see is, and some of you have been very sweet in your comments, oh my word, you're such a great artist. Thank you very much for saying that. I was not confident in the beginning. I was not able to walk into my studio and say, I want that color, that color, that color, that color, I'm gonna do that background, I'm gonna blow it out, and I want it to look like this. I was not able to do that in the beginning. And that's just a reality. For me, maybe you will be able to, I don't know. I don't know what your learning curve is, but for me, I started fluid art 1.5 years ago. So, yeah. Give yourself time. And I will say one other thing, that my coach, when I was in network marketing, my coach in that company used to tell me when I would say, I can't do this anymore, I'm a terrible salesperson, I suck at this, whatever I would say, terrible self-talk. I'd say, I'm gonna quit. And she'd say, okay. And I'd be like, what? I can quit? She'd say, yeah, you can quit for today. You can quit for today, but you get going again tomorrow. So I'm gonna recommend you guys, if you ever feel like, it's okay to quit for today. Give yourself the time, the brain space to get it right. Quit for a day and go back to it the next day, but only quit for one day. I took 3 days off. That's the longest that I've gone in 1.5 years without painting. I took 3 days off. I was extraordinarily frustrated. I was having a pity party. I felt bad for myself. So I took 3 days off and I missed it. So I came back in and I did 6 paintings in one day, and I absolutely loved every single one of them. I just needed a break. So give yourself time to get it right. Number 14, practice, practice, practice. Wait a minute, maybe that was number 14. Maybe I told you number 14. Yeah, I told you number 14. What am I doing? Apparently it was so important, I gotta tell you twice. Practice, practice, practice. This is the Olympics. This is not everything else that I did to get to the Olympics. So remember that. When you're in your studio, especially in the beginning, this isn't the Olympics. I'm just practicing, getting ready for the Olympics. Because one day, you will go in your studio and you will put paints on the canvas, and maybe it will make you cry like it does for me. And you'll go, wow, that's a gold medal. That's a silver medal. That's a bronze medal. I just made it. This is qualifying. This is qualifying for the Olympics. I am in the running. And you'll know. You'll definitely know. So that's number 14. A little bit of a tip with regard to your paints. Mix, 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 mix. And mix some more. That I had to have drilled into my head because I was not mixing my paints enough. Make sure they're thin enough if you're doing this style of painting. Make sure you are mixing. Mix, mix, mix. Good rule of thumb is if you think it's all mixed perfectly, mix it a little more. It can't hurt to mix. So mix, mix, mix. That's number 15. And number 16, this is really important, and this is a hard one for some people, because you might not have people like this in your life. Get feedback from trusted people. People who are going to give you positive feedback. They're not just going to feed your ego or be rude to you and be like, you need to quit because this is not for you. Trust me, those people, cancel. Shoo shoo. You're not allowed in my brain space. Shoo shoo. Positive feedback only. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to blow sunshine, you know where. Positive feedback. So they might come in and say, you know, the composition is outstanding. I think maybe try some different colors next time. Or colors are gorgeous. The composition, maybe you could tweak it this way or that way. Or what do you like best about it? If they can't find anything nice to say, what do you like best about it? Okay, so there's my list of the 16. If you missed it and you want a copy of the list, I will absolutely be happy to email it to you. And I think this is done, you guys. Now I have to figure out what the composition is. For me, you might like it a different way. And I'm going to tell you the way I like it. But don't like it that way. I don't like it that way. I like it that way. What do you guys think? Do you agree? If you don't, comment, I guess. Tell me what do you think. I don't know how you're going to tell me which way it should go, but okay, so the piece is done. Again, this is 24 by 24. I told you all the colors. I'll list them down below. I gave you the list of the 16. I'll go down through them really quickly, and I'm just going to read them. Take your time, don't rush. Be yourself and be kind to yourself. Learn from the ones who are most like you, that you identify with or have something in common with. Find multiple mentors. Keep it simple, especially at first. Learn the basics of color theory and composition. Start out small. Have a plan to recycle. Have a plan for safety. That's number 9. Have a plan for safety for both you and the environment. Number 10, watch as many videos as you can and watch them repeatedly. Number 11, use inexpensive paints and inexpensive canvases to start. Number 12, prepare. Number 13, give yourself time to get it right. Number 14, practice, 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 practice. It's the Olympics, practice every day. 15, mix, 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 and mix some more. And 16, get feedback from trusted sources. Take a breath, okay. Let me know what you think of this piece. Oh, I love it. Oh, I really love it. I will tell you, one thing I noticed, there's a lot more cells than I was expecting. And then I remembered Liquitex Basics Cadmium Yellow Light makes cells. Whatever reason, I don't know why, but it does. So my mix that I put in the top layer also will form some cells, which you can see. But on the outside edges here, there's really none of that black out here. That's the cadmium yellow. So next time I might not use cadmium yellow if I want fewer cells. But I happen to love it. So give some feedback. Give me a shout out. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. Because if you do, I'm going to agree with you. Because I kind of am. But you know what? life's too short to be sane. I don't know if I can say that or not, but I'm gonna. Anyway, okay, so thank you very much for being here. Please subscribe. Please share the video. Please let me know how you think of my list of 16 if you want to add to it. Let me know your thoughts on that. And I think we're done for now. So I'm gonna take my gloves off. I am gonna go around there and see if I can zoom you in a little bit on this piece. I'm not sure how well you're seeing it, but I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit. And I'm gonna turn off the overhead light so there's no glare. Let's see if I can zoom you in so you can see how pretty it is. Ta-da! I think I just said ta-da. That's pretty silly of me. Hold on. Why isn't this moving? Okay, here we go. There. What do you all think? I think it's pretty. Oh, look at those cells. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm a little silly. I might have had too much coffee this morning. Or not enough. I'm not sure. Okay. Love it. That is so awesome. Oops, I hope I didn't make you guys dizzy just now. Okay, I'm going back. All right. Wonderful. That is that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of your time and all of your energy and all of your comments and for sharing and liking and all that stuff. So thank you very much. Remember, this is little K saying, just go make the art.